Hello and welcome everyone to this special episode and series on generative AI capability with SAP Business Technology Platform. In this video series, we will learn about SAP's new generative AI capability for source code generation as well as application development. The whole world is talking and moving on AI. Lot of AI models like ChatGPT are very popular amongst developers and content creators to generate the automatic content using powerful AI tools. In the same journey, SAP have also introduced this decade SAP Build Code, which is a powerful generative AI tool to allow us to build applications and create unit tests. But before we get into the detail, we need to understand the benefits of generative AI. What is generative AI in general? And then talk about the different generative AI tools in the market. Followed by that, we will introduce you the introduction to SAP Joule. So let's get started. So first of all, what is an AI code generator or a AI developer who will help us to generate the code? Why do we need that? So let's try and understand that an AI code generator is a computer program incorporating artificial intelligence that helps software engineers to write source code more swiftly and precisely. So one simple thing we need to understand that nobody is taking away our job, but it is just that we are getting more optimized, we are getting much faster while writing precise code. When we type the code in real time, it generates the code based on prompts or suggests the code with auto completion. AI code writers like these can translate between different programming languages and also write new and fresh programs. Additionally, they help us automatic documentation generation as well as speedy code snippet discovery. So basically, it's more of a assistance to the developer where developer can do their job much better and faster. Now, AI algorithms they apply to a selective code to give you the best results, to give you the best performance and more optimized code, which perhaps someone may not be able to think through or write through. It enables developers to create programs much quicker, hence adding the efficiency. There are three ways AI code generation functions. When a developer starts inputting the code, AI will attempt to autocomplete the source code line. For example, you're writing a loop in a JavaScript code, it will complete your loop with the required variables and extract the components of the JSON and populates in local variables to do the required processing. An AI algorithm makes suggestions centered on developer's objective when developer leaves an input in the natural language. So you can ask the AI tool to generate a database table for me with vendors and containing following properties like vendor ID, vendor name, first name, last name, city, country, pin code, as well as the vendor IDs. So AI will automatically create the syntax for creating a database table for you. A developer also can communicate directly with AI, requesting to develop a particular code or repair a bug. So these are the benefits of an AI code generator. Now, behind the scene, basically these AI code generators are trained. They are trained on certain models, and these models are designed to interpret the code and understand the syntax of the code. These models are trained with millions and millions and lines of code available in the existing infrastructure on the public repositories. That is how these models are trained and developed. Why to use an AI code generator? So the main advantage of AI code generation is to potentially generate the code in less time. Basically, I don't want to sit on my keyboard and typing lots of lines of code. AI does conventional coding responsibilities, and also it can write unit tests for us, enabling developers to concentrate on the work that require more critical and creative thinking, and also solving real business challenges. An AI powered code generator automates the code development, decreasing the development process by rapidly creating functional code that meets the specification, making it useful for rapid development and time sensitive applications. AI code generator is trained on various code sources, allowing it to generate code compatible with industry standards, tidy and easy to maintain, and encouraging teamwork. Usually, it happens that if you have 10 developers, all 10 thinks differently, and it is very difficult to understand the code written by your colleague at times. Whereas you can also get into a discussion with the colleagues about best practices of writing certain piece of code. But when we use AI, the AI is going to generate the code for all of us, irrespective of which country, which project, which location, or how big the scale of the project is. That way, we can also bring the timelessness to our code. They can serve an observant defenses, discovering flaws beforehand and saving you for hassle of debugging. AI code assistants also improve the quality of the code by providing consulting services on how to build practical, feasible, and secure code. That is the another benefit we get when we use the AI for source code generation. An AI powered code generator simplifies coding by rendering it more accessible to broader population. So people who have never ever done coding can also utilize these tools to generate the code, reducing the skill gap, enabling users to design their applications, and simulating innovations across multiple industries. Some of the powerful AI code generation tools in the market, which are very popular, are OpenAI Codex. OpenAI is the same company which has brought in the Chat GPT. So the Codex is a product which also helps to generate the code. We have Tab 9, Code T5, Polycoder, and GitHub Copilot amongst the one which are very popular. And now comes is SAP Joule. SAP Joule is also a AI code generator. That's why it's called as generative AI tool. A tool which helps you to generate something based on prompts. So you have to provide the prompts and it will then generate the corresponding code for you in SAP specific languages and frameworks like Cloud Application Programming Model or maybe in the near future ABAP and RAP. Joule is a new and exciting generative AI assistant that intelligently changes how we interact with SAP systems and applications. Joule was developed with a focus on simplifying and streamlining tasks through various touchpoints. Joule is named after renowned 19th century English brewer, physicist, and mathematician James Prescott Joule. He was famous for many things, such as the first law of thermodynamics, the Joule cycle, the Joule expansion, and Joule's first and second law. Similar to other AI assistant, you'll be able to communicate with the Joule using native languages and chat. Just the way I'm talking to you, same way you can talk to Joule. And you can ask questions like, what is the table is a purchase order in? How many sales orders created last month? Has invoice number been paid yet? In response, the Joule will intelligently provide you the accurate technical and business process related to that information. For example, I can ask Joule to write a query for me to select top 10 customers by their ranking in sales. And Joule will be able to do that for me. SAP Joule differentiate itself from other AI models like ChatGPT based on the compelling fact that the Joule is an SAP solution falling under SAP's BTP's AI cloud. Therefore, Joule is an advantage for SAP users and developers because it was built on top of S/4HANA and BTP applications in mind. So somebody might think I can use ChatGPT to generate the code or Codex, but the problem is those tools are not very much familiar with SAP specific applications because SAP applications are more complex in nature and they also follow specified or specific business processes according to ERP. SAP have trained Joule by analyzing millions of lines of code across the globe over all their ERP implementations. So it is very much powerful and accurate in terms of SAP ERP. In our today's session, we are going to learn how to set up SAP Joule and get an access to your development environment powered by SAP Joule. Our development environment is still going to be the business application studio, but it will have integrated Joule inside, which is a generative AI assistant going to help you to create code much faster and swiftly. So what are we waiting for? Let's go and see how to create a account on BTP to get started with SAP Joule generative AI capability. I have already registered my first BTP account over here, and now I will go inside my trial account. You can find the link to register on SAP BTP account in the description of this video. I will switch over to the booster. Booster is nothing but it's kind of a automated task which quickly set up your and configure your account for a particular development tool. In this booster, we will search for SAP Build Booster. You can see the option Get started with SAP Build Code. So there is a quick difference between SAP Build App and SAP Build Code. SAP Build Code is the required development tool to utilize the generative AI capability. So we can start with this booster and it will automatically configure everything for us in our BTP account. You can see it is assigning service quotas, creating SaaS applications, creating service instance, and also granting the necessary roles to me to be able to use the SAP's generative AI capability.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right. So now you can see over here, it has got the booster executed successfully. And we can now navigate to our BTP sub account to find the application. When I navigate, I can straight ahead go back to instances and subscriptions to find the required subscription for SAP Build Code. SAP Build Code is not a completely new tool. If you are already comfortable and used to SAP Business Application Studio, then it's a very similar experience and environment. So you can see when we go to our BTP account, instance and subscriptions, we can already find a subscription created for us for SAP Build Code. We can click on that and it is now going to launch our development tool where we have the SAP Joule already integrated. So first of all, it land up us to the lobby where we need to create a fresh project and then we can start editing the project in the new tool SAP Build Code, which is powered by SAP Joule. So let's create a new project and we can create a new build application using SAP Build Code. I would like to create a full stack application and let's give a name as Anubhav Trainings. So my first SAP Build Code app using Gen AI. Awesome. We can choose here the type, of course, and we can click on create and the new application will get created. So you see already my dev space limits have reached in the business application studio. So in case you're already using SAP business application studio, a dev space limit could have got reached in the trial account because in the trial account we are allowed to only use maximum 2 dev spaces. So what you got to do is you got to go to the Business Application Studio tool and remove one of the dev space so that the you can utilize the SAP Joule's capability. So since I am already providing multiple corporate trainings on SAP BTP, I have already created the instance with Business Application Studio, and I had already created a couple of dev spaces in my trial account. So I will head over back to the dev space manager, and you can see I already created these dev spaces in the past for other courses, other trainings. So I would now delete the dev space. So that system would allow me in this trial account to create another dev space. So this was one of the issue which was reported by one of my student also, that I'm unable to use the new Gen AI capability. And the reason was because they had created more than one dev space, basically two dev space, which is allowed in a trial account. So make sure in trial account, if you're using the BAS tool, there is only one dev space which you perhaps can have maximum, and the second one will be reserved by the SAP build code. We head over back to the build code now and once again try to create the project. So I click on build an application, build code, full stack application, and give the name again Anubhav Trainings. So we build code, click on create. So a new dev space is now getting created behind the scene. You can also head over back to the dev space screen and voila, you can see it's creating a new dev space full stack application using productivity tools. As you know, the Gen AI is not replacing the developer, rather it is helping developers to improve the productivity. That's why we call it as full stack application using productivity tools. So behind the scene, it's creating actually a dev space for us where we can start creating and editing our application. So once it is done, it is going to create a virtual machine behind the scenes in the cloud, and that virtual machine will get started. And once that virtual machine starts, we'll be able to get into it and see the SAP's Joule, which is generative AI capability.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so now the dev space is up and running. We can click on that, and that will start essentially nothing but a business application studio environment. If you're new to business application studio, check the description of this video. I have created a couple of videos for you to introduce the beginning of BAS tool. And now you can see it's booting up the business application studio. And the most interesting thing to notice is this diamond icon. Yeah, that's the icon we can use to start SAP Joule, the generative AI capability in the BTP. You can also get a storyboard here. The storyboard will give you a nice overview of all the components of your application, like the user interface, the services, and the data model. So now I can click on this diamond icon, which is going to launch SAP Joule. You can see here, I can also open the guide, which will open a quick guide for how to write prompts for SAP Joule. Yes. And you can see it's booting up SAP Joule. And now I can start asking questions like you do in Chat GPT. If you've used Chat GPT, we can provide prompts. These questions are called prompts. We input the prompt and the intelligent engine, the trained model, the trained AI model is going to interpret our prompt, and it is accordingly going to generate all the necessary code and artifact for us. Cool. So with that, that is it for today's session. I hope you enjoyed how to set up SAP Joule for the first time, the generative AI capability on BTP. In my next episode, I will take you through the journey of building a full stack application with the help of this Gen AI capability. Once again, thank you so much for your time joining this episode. If you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe this video. Share it in the WhatsApp group with your team members so that they can also get started with SAP Joule to build and enhance their skills and create amazing applications in the cloud for their customers. Thank you once again. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.